The playoffs are finally here for the 4th season of Play More, and we have a rematch with our first playoff game. We're going against the Seattle Sigilyphs once again, coached by Dashing Septile. And this is actually a team that beat us earlier in the season. There wasn't really any hacks or anything. They just out-prepped, outplayed us, and that makes this a very scary game, but a really important one, Tyler.
Well, the other thing they had in their favor is Bald and JTV was here for that battle on our side. But even despite that, we talked about the importance of that last regular season battle for us. Not just do we climb all the way to 4 in terms of the seeding, but we jump over a team that we lost to in the regular season because of how good our differential is. Both teams have been playing really well coming into the playoffs. The Sigilyphs in particular really turned their season around after that win against us. And John, with the team that they have on their side, it's really easy to see why.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this team is not changed, and it's as scary as it was the first time. That defense girl Petrant really stopped us in our tracks. Conkelder stopped us at the end of the game. So many threats there. But the biggest thing to note is our team is different from the first game. We now have Uxie. We have Sandy Cheeks as a Terra captain. This is hopefully going to be the thing that pushes us over the edge to get our very first playoff win in team history. Tyler, this is the biggest game Playmore has ever had. What is the coach cooking up for this matchup?
Well, you mentioned that Uxie. As you see the team on screen, not just are we bringing Uxie, the Bald, M&J TV, we're also bringing Noog. So Ben has definitely cooked something special up with this team. If you want to know why he's brought these mons and these sets, you can watch the extended team builder. The link is in the description. But for now, let's see what the opponent is bringing for this playoff battle.
It's finally time to get into the big playoff game. Everything has led up to this, and our opponent doesn't have a frog on the other side of the field. I love everything about that, Tyler. It doesn't make me more confident in the game, but I don't want to lose to a frog that was taken in the draft before we had a chance to get it. Now, I am really excited about the Darkrai set in this matchup, especially seeing the Vikavolt on the other side. Sticky webs are a certainty in this matchup, so hopefully the Cheeks can do a lot of damage. But before we get into this incredibly huge game for Play More, I need to thank the sponsor of this team, as always, play-more.store. We're running low on supplies. You guys have been incredibly supportive throughout the entire season. If you see something that you like at the store, please snag it. We're gonna do our best to restock for the next season, but for now, get your bubby, hold it close. It's time to get into the biggest game we've ever played.
All right, we know on our side, John, we're leading with the Cheeks. We've got a pretty good idea of what the lead is going to be on the other side.
Oh!
That's not what the good idea was.
No, but it's a really, really good lead on the opponent's side. You know, we were talking before the game about Hoopa Unbound. This thing is not too speedy, but it can punch a hole in your team. It's defense, Cheeks, but Cheeks is hitting on the specially defensive side, so that is not ideal.
And its special defense is not Cheeks. I was questioning, how is this thing a Terra captain? I mean, 170 special attack, 160 physical attack. I know it's not the fastest, but it's specially bulky. Really good lead from the opponent's side. You can tell that these are two teams that not only have scouted each other, but they've already played each other this season.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't really seen much in the history of Play More. You know, when I was playing Draft League back in the day, in my first season, that was a huge part of my story going into the playoffs. I'm pretty sure I played 2 opponents that I had played twice in that season, and it really, really changes things, Tyler. You know, not only have we changed up our strategy completely, but the opponent has already shown how they win with that defense girl Petrant. So we are probably going to see a lot of new sets. And I really don't mind this start. You know, Ben wanted to be more aggressive with the Cheeks, get some damage on whatever they start with. And you know what? As long as we can live one hit, I'm feeling pretty decently okay-ish with this beginning.
Well, I think it was a smart move by Ben just to stay in and attack and see how aggressive they were going to be on their side. This is the strength that you have with Cheeks as the lead, in that there is enough fear from opponents to where you don't really want to switch if you don't have to into any damage from this thing, but this is where the speed matters on the other side for Hoopa Unbound. Because we know Ben is going to be able to strike first, I don't know that they're going to want to take another big hit here, even if it means on Ben's side you're sacrificing the cheeks if they stay in and go for something. I think you would take that trade-off to get more damage off and pretty much have this thing dead to rights to anything that Ben switches in. I don't know that the opponent wants that to happen here.
No, I love everything that just happened here. I mean, that was fantastic. We know that this thing is Life Orb. It's not going to be outspeeding anything unless sticky webs go up. It's already at half health. Like, I really, really like this. I love
yeah,
this,
I don't
Tyler.
think they could take the hit there. There's no way you could stay in and take that, and now it's just free damage for Ben.
Absolutely, and now they're trying to get the sticky webs in. Well, actually, they might not even be sticky webs if this is well, no, it's not going to be Assault Vest. Ben said specially defensive. My mind immediately goes to Assault Vest because I love that item. But, yeah, I just love this. I had to go through too many thoughts quickly. They clearly need to have something to switch in on the Sandy Cheeks. They want to be able to get up the sticky webs. If we can prevent this from, oh my God, we're not going to do that. If we could have prevented it from getting up sticky webs, that could have been great. But just being able to get 2 of their Pokemon down to half-ish health is very fantastic in this game. Ben has already prepped for sticky webs in general. And it doesn't even look like those are going to come into play. Tyler, I really, really hate that move from the opponent, just guaranteeing 2 of their Pokemon are at half health this early on.
Well, I don't understand. It's something that we have seen, and maybe there's more. This could end up being a genius move, and I'm wrong. One of the big things that I have learned over, 4 seasons of doing Draft League is that it is huge to get that kill, and then you're ahead. We talk about this all the time, being ahead of the opponent, because they're having to be reactionary to everything that you're doing. Here, you lose that potential because you're making the switch, and now Ben can play aggressively into what you just brought in with the Volt switch. And all of a sudden, you go from a not ideal situation to you just get to bring in the perfect matchup for what's on the other side. I don't wholly understand this. Again, I could be proven wrong. I think this really works in Ben's favor.
I will say the only thing that I'm noticing here is I think they might be trying to force in the Blossom switch so they can get that +1 defense out of the way now. They have to have something to switch into this, right? Like, they lose the game if they don't have a switch. So I think the biggest thing here was to force in the dog, get rid of that +1 defense, and then go from there. You know, we see the Rocky helmet, like we see them ready for this. I actually don't mind that part of it from the opponent, but I still really don't like, you know, 2 of their Pokemon being as weak as they are this early in.
Here is something I suspect Ben told us he was ready for, the parting shot coming in there. And that's the clear aimlet. I know for you, were a little confused, you know, old school battler, a little bit of a boomer when it comes to the battle scene. We're a little confused to see that. But genius prep by Ben. He was fully expecting that to be the case. Anytime that Pecha is out there, it's out there to annoy. I'm just hoping it doesn't have defense curl on it, but that parting shot totally walled off by having Noog out there.
I think they're making up items, Tyler. I think they're making up items. I don't think it's real. But this here is why I really just do not like what the opponent was doing early on. They need to get sticky webs up if they want their Hoopa Unbound to be useful. And at this point, Ben's prep has been so great that it's just not giving the opponent a chance for that to happen. You know, I really, really love to get the information here that Garchomp and the Petrant are Rocky Helmet defensive sets. Now, obviously, we are going to have to switch, but continuing to keep the pressure on the opponent is hopefully just going to get them through a spot where, I mean, right now they have 4 Pokemon that have damage on them. You know, this Garchomp has lost its item. Petrant's not going to be able to parting shot on anything. I just really love the spot that we're in. And this is where the opponent can really get some momentum back. I really, 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 really like that play from them. That was a good switch. This is why this is a playoff game, Tyler. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan of some of the things early. That was a fantastic double to make sure they could gain a little momentum. Our coach is chewing on his sweatshirt string. It's the mark of a good beginning of a game, Tyler. I'm very excited to see where this goes.
And now I want to see what the opponent does, because they know, they've seen it already. We're hard switching in here to Zinda. That is going to be our game plan when it comes to dealing with the Hoopa. And so far, the opponent has just been switching, which is fine. But it keeps Ben from really ever falling behind in this battle. There have been a couple of spots where it felt like the opponent could take momentum, really take control of things. That has not happened yet. And while I understand the switching to try to set up the ideal matchups, at some point you're going to have to go for something. And I'm interested to see where that bends at. Because right now, obviously, we've lost Cheeks. But I don't feel like we've really lost too much in this battle, and to me it still feels like we're ahead with the damage that we've done and the switches that have been made.
We are still ahead. I think the problem we are seeing right now is, I mean, we're just going against one of the best coaches we've gone against all season. You know, this was our worst loss of the season, or at least it just felt that way. You know, it was just kind of a clean loss. You don't see a lot of triple switches, and that triple switch was perfect, as it's going to allow them to gain some momentum. Now, they're going to have to make a play to gain that momentum, but Jirachi's very frustrating. And if they're able to get a Thunder Wave off here, oh my God, they went for the quadruple switch. Okay, I think they messed up. I think they flew way too close to the sun, Tyler. I mean, the quadruple switch is not something you see often. I thought having Jirachi in, perfect time to get a Thunder Wave off on anything they want on the team, and then just start harassing the team, whittling things down. But now, what the heck is Moki? What's the Barry doing against Bald?
I don't. And here's the question from Ben's side. Do you just go for rocks and assume that they're going to switch again? And they do. All right. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And they don't even. Wow. Okay. This is crazy. The quintuple switch is insane. Now, maybe they're trying to get their own hazards up, but man, oh man, not punishing us like with a single one of those switches is crazy. It is so crazy. There's no, I don't even know what I would say for a sixth switch, Tyler. I think I've run out of the beginning of the word. Oh my God!
I hope you can figure it out.
The sep is it sep is the sep six
is it six? No, you we're you know what? We're YouTube sextuple.
Sextuple? Is it sextuple?
Yes, that's what it is, John. That's why I was saying seis. That's why we went Spanish.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I learned French in school. Croissant, oui, sandy cheeks. Well, seeks,
there we go, sextuple.
We got Cheeks on the team. They switched sextuple times. What do you want from me, man? We're gonna just keep going forward like nothing has happened.
Move. Oh, they did a move!
Woo! You could have done that when Jirachi was in earlier. Okay. I think we can get back to the battle. We've had our fun, and while we were able to make a big thing out of that, all of those switches were still good strategy on the opponent's side, annoyingly as it is, you know. We were never able to punish those switches outside of getting stealth rocks up. They were able to get those stealth rocks. It's really intimidating to see something like that and be in the spot. The coach is terrified of a Thunder Wave at this point, and we really don't have a lot of options. You cannot bring in Darkrai here. You cannot let Darkrai get Thunder Waved. We will lose the game if Darkrai gets Thunder Waved.
Yeah, Darkrai is our win con, and we're pretty confident that if Darkrai can stay healthy until the right point, it wins this battle.
Yeah.
That's certainly still on the table. You don't love risking Blossom getting paralyzed, but they don't. Okay.
They may not have Thunder Wave.
That would be great.
Yeah, they just might not have Thunder Wave, and I really like that. Hey, maybe they were predicting us to stay in. There were so many after so many switches, it does get difficult to make the right prediction. Like, you're at a spot where things need to calm down. It doesn't seem like Jirachi has anything for Blossom, which is fantastic. They do bring in this annoying little fella. And I kind of like this. Both coaches calmed down. Ben went for the straightforward play. The opponent went for the straightforward play. And now the game plans can actually game plan, Tyler. This is the matchup that really ruined my day all those weeks back. Is it going to be different this time? Did the opponent bring defense curl again? Or was Ben correct that it was parting shot that was the change? And your favorite, Noog, actually stopped it in its tracks, and now they don't have anything for Hal.
Here's what I'm wondering, and this is what I was thinking. Because the Binaural does not exactly love when games get stuck, when they start to stall. And I was expecting sooner or later we'd see the aggressive move, because on Ben's side, rightfully so, so many of the turns have been switches. And at some point you can punish those. This is the opportunity to do that. It feels dicey, it feels a little early, but I think it's actually the perfect timing to bring in Darkrai. Now on the opponent's side, what are we going to see? Do they dare stay in, take a hit? Ben's probably running calcs. That was pretty quick. I think he's assuming that this kills. I don't know what the opponent does. Well, the right switch here is devastating for them. That is devastating for them.
Coach. And this is just what you love to see. It's a playoff game, baby. You gotta make big plays. And something I really, really loved as a coach. Early in Draft League, when it was less incredible prep, the best prep you've ever seen, and a lot of times it was just who can outplay the other person. The battle has turned into who can outplay the other person. There's been a billion switches. And our coach is able to settle in, read how the opponent is playing, and know in that spot they're gonna switch out so you can make the aggressive switch. And because Ben brought a really, really incredible Darkrai set, but at the end of the day, a pretty straightforward Darkrai set, you can go for Psyshock. The Psyshock will kill the Hoopa Unbound because of the Stealth Rock damage and the damage from early in the game. So even when they do switch in Conkeldurr, that's gonna do a ridiculous amount of damage. And now the opponent is running out of Pokemon, Tyler, that aren't very weakened. It's pretty much just Jirachi, and they're just spamming Hoopa Unbound right now, trying to break through our team.
Well, that's a dicey switch on the opponent. Great read to see through. Ben not going for anything in that spot, but you can only switch in so many times because of the switching earlier that let us get the rocks up. This would not be an issue for the opponent if they weren't so conservative that we were able to get up the rocks in the middle of all this. At a certain point, this is going to have to change. Something is going to have to give, because Ben is in a spot now where he can play this game. And if you want to switch all you want, feel free, because Ben can sit there and wait it out because of the rocks damage. I don't know where that blipping point is for the opponent when they start to do some more damage. It might have to be here, though.
It absolutely is here, and it's why we saw the aggressive switch. I mean, the opponent is just playing their tail off, man. I mean, they are trying so hard to get their team in a spot where they can break through, and there just has not been an opening until this point. And while they are able to score a pretty big kill, it's
baby.
It's at the expense of this, exactly. So I do think it was a pretty fantastic play on the opponent's part. Hoopa Unbound has a life orb. It was on a timer. Every time you switch it in with Stealth Rock, it's going to go down. The best thing you can do at that point, without Sticky Webs being up, is getting a kill. I commend them for that. I think that was fantastic. But Tyler, gives me a ridiculous amount of confidence seeing how hard they're playing and how hard they had to play to take out the bald little fairy itself. I mean, that is just not something that is going to win us the game. It did what it needed to do. And I don't think Hoopa Unbound did what the opponent needed it to do, especially with Vikavolt being weakened. I mean, they have Vikavolt, the Berry, and Garchomp all very defensive.
I mean, Mickey did everything that he needed to do. Went down. But now that this is where it's at, the Hoopa Unbound was super scary to me. Maybe it's not actually the biggest threat. To me, it was just super scary looking at the stats and how it had been used. The opponent, with all the switching, with all they've done, and I agree, they've made a lot of good plays. They have not touched Darkrai. And if they are unable to do anything to Darkrai, as everything else is chipped at and whittled away, this battle is as good as done. And I don't know from the opponent's side if there is the urgency in their mind as they're doing this of, I've got to find a way to get Darkrai in here and do some damage to it. That's got to be the priority. And I don't know how you get there right now.
Well, I know you weren't. A lot of jokes throughout the season, but I know you weren't there for the battle. That's how we lost the last battle. We needed to get Conkeldurr in to whittle that thing down so we could win the battle, because obviously Mach Punch, it taking hits, it's going to be really good against the dog, and we weren't able to do it. When you get into these spots, it is so difficult to bring in that one Pokemon you need to bring in to whittle it down in that spot, and it's really nice to see the turntables here. And now they're going to have a really, really hard time taking this Clefable out. Coach really wanted to make a super bold play with that Thunder Wave. I'm happy he didn't. This is not the time to do it. If he was wrong, it could have been catastrophic.
It doesn't gain you as much as it would have lost you if you went for it and it failed.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree fully. We really, 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 really need to get some damage on this Jirachi. This is absolutely something that is a thorn in our side with our defensive Pokemon, just not being able to do too much here. So I do like bringing in Blossom here of, hey, let's be aggressive with this thing. You know, let's force their hand. Let's see if we can slow them down. Ironhead's not going to do anything. I would like to see our coach set up.
I think at this point we know no Thunder Wave.
Yeah.
Which is great. Ben had played around it either way if it was there. It frees up Ben to play a bit more confidently, especially with the Darkrai. You don't have to worry about that being a possibility. I wonder here, because we've seen this be the matchup. It's weird because it's kind of the check from both sides. Is Zamazenta being the check for Pecharunt, but then Pecharunt also really being the check for Zamazenta? I wonder if that's where the opponent goes and just turns this into basically a 2 to 3 turn slog between those two, or if there is something more aggressive that they try here. I figured this would be the case and just bring out Pecharunt and let him go at it for 2 or 3 turns. It might not produce much, but still I think the smart play from the opponent.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, it's how they were able to stop us last time, and while it doesn't seem to be the infuriatingly smart defense curl sets, this should put us in a pretty good spot, and if Ben is able to make the right switch into Darkrai here and not lose anything, I mean, we should be able to claim another kill. Now, we do have to be careful. Conkeldurr's Mach Punch is something we do not want to deal with, so we are going to have to make the right play here. But I really, really like this. You know, we have put ourselves in a position without ever taking our foot off the gas pedal where we can make these predictions. And does the coach put his foot on the team's neck? Does he just try to end it? You can take a Mach Punch. You can take one for sure. Is this actually something? Is this something that can work? We have the Psyshock for that specially defensive Vikavolt. We get a free Calm Mind as they switch. If we can kill this thing with a Psyshock, which we definitely can because it's not boots. I don't know what item was that thing. Hey, do not care. I'll be honest. Don't care at all. We kill for sure. Tyler, I think that may be game. I do not see a way we lose at this point. And if that's true, Tyler, what a start to the postseason this would be. 1 down.
That in itself was the moment that Ben was waiting for. That's when you can capitalize on the passive play from the opponent. He knew in that spot, we've seen it time after time, he does not want the Pecharunt to take damage. If there was a case where it had an opportunity to take big damage, that thing was out of there. Ben knew it, played right into it, found the opportunity, and he told us coming in, if I can get one Calm Mind off, we win this battle. And we knew he was going to hunt for it, but he did a really good job of not overplaying for it, not trying to get it too early. They're the perfect spot to capitalize on the knowledge that he gained throughout the battle. It's what you talked about. That was half prep, but also knowing what the opponent had done throughout the battle in those similar spots, put them together, the perfect play, and Ben got exactly what he told us he needed to win this battle coming in.
Just absolutely beautiful. You know what? We're going with it. Absolutely.
That was if you're still here, put it in the comments. This is a beautiful battle.
Absolutely beautiful. chef's kiss. But as
Timestamp it, a beautiful moment.
We were talking about it earlier. The opponent needed to get damage on the Darkrai, and, you know, you weren't there, but that was what really lost us. Just the Conkeldurr being able to sit back there and be that problem. Being able to really push it a little bit more, force that Conkeldurr to come in when Mach Punch could not kill. Get the super mega crit. Does not matter. We've got that. You're not outspeeding. Even if you got sticky webs up, it did not matter. We had those boots on, Tyler. He had it on. Are you kidding me? This stupid little berry, I don't care what you got. You are out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. Off my screen. And Tyler, this looks like Playmore's first postseason victory.
Not just that. This is one of the more dominant single Pokemon performances we've ever seen. It feels a little bit quieter maybe than some of the past ones we've seen because it has gone straight to Ben's game plan and he's just cleaning this thing up at the end. But this is going to be 5 kills for Darkrai. Not just a playoff win, but a 5-kill performance from Darkrai in doing so. Dominance from Ben to get this thing done against an opponent that we lost to in the regular season. I wasn't here. I'm here now. I'd like to think there's a correlation there. John, we got our playoff win.
We absolutely did. And that was a fantastic performance from the opponent. I felt like they played incredibly well. I don't feel like they brought like a bad team. I felt like they brought a solid team. I feel like our coach was unbelievably on point with the prep and the play. It's something we've seen from the entire season, and I have just felt so confident in this draft from the beginning. But since those moves, I just feel like this is a team. Every week, it doesn't matter the matchup, I believe we should be the team predicted to win. Hey, maybe it's by a little bit. Maybe it's by just a little bit, and you can still lose. I feel like this is one of the better teams I've seen put together, and I have not seen a coach on fire like this in a very long time. Feels really good to be here. It feels fantastic to get a win with Darkrai against the team that took Greninja from us, Tyler. I wanted Darkrai. Everyone else wanted Greninja. It would have been a weird storyline all season if I had pushed us to pick Darkrai with Greninja still being there. But it's nice to beat the frog anyways, because we got the real frog. We got Bubby. But you know what? Next week, bigger battle. We have another playoff match. You do not want to miss it. We got one playoff win. This is our best season by far already. But now we got our sights on something a little bit bigger. You don't want to miss it.